Welcome, loyal fans. We are back for the second round of the Nations Cup. This race is held on the recently added Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, or however you pronounce that.
It is pronounced Circuit Gilles Villeneuve.
Right, okay? I'm not even going to try, but there you go. Thank you, Miss Baguette.
Baguette.
Okay, anyway, the car for today is the Red Bull X2019. It wouldn't be a true Nations Cup if Polyphony Digital didn't force us to use that car for at least 2 races during the Cup, so this is going to be the first one. Just like the F3500B from the last race, this is also a very high downforce, high-power car, making it pretty hard to control. Qualifying will last for the default 5 minutes, allowing at least 2 or maybe 3 flying laps. The race itself is a rather short 15 laps total, and only the racing soft slick tires are available for use. With tire wear set to the lowest setting, they will easily last the entire race. Since there is also no mandatory pit stop, we essentially have a sprint race. This means there is not a lot of time to make up for any mistakes that are made. And there is also no strategy involved. It just boils down to driving until the wheels fall off and not making any mistakes. With all that info out of the way, let's take a quick look at the livery that was made for the car. Looking good, if I may say so myself. Now let's also take a look at a compilation of events from a 15-lap practice session, which shows how extremely difficult this car is to keep in check around this circuit. So yeah, this is definitely a very challenging combination. The car is a handful just by itself, but the track requires the sausage curbs to be used to be fast enough. Yet those will undoubtedly unsettle the car if the angle is not exactly correct. In qualifying, it will probably be necessary to take a bit more risk for a good starting position, to prevent starting in the midfield, and no doubt getting caught up into its accompanying shenanigans. Now, let's go take a look at how Dordanov is going to manage this round. And as you can expect with a combo like this, not every team went according to plan. So let's take a look at some highlights first. Qualifying was pretty good despite the traffic. Even when leaving a gap, you often catch up with stray cars that went off track somewhere ahead of you, so that third place on the grid will do nicely. Dordanov didn't just ram him off there, did he? Let's take a look. Unclear. And even if so, it was minor contact and more a lag issue that should have caused that spin. But that incident and trying to steer clear of the car in front is causing something else. We all know what this means. The car behind is terribly eager to pass here. Let's take a look from his perspective. Luckily, the game recognizes Dordenhoff was pushed wide here and will not award him with an additional penalty for not making the corner. And so, the hunt begins. A lap later, Dordenhoff has closed the gap back up and is gaining rapidly towards second place. Take note, well within the lines here. And this is also exactly what he has been doing in practice without any issues. On the curbs, so within bounds as far as the game concerned. Yet, still awarded a penalty. Thanks, game. Well then, not exactly smooth sailing here, but also quite an incident of the other two cars. Let's take a look. Not entirely sure what happened there, but it seems like he completely forgot he has a brake pedal in that car. Quite the impact as well. That almost sent the Dane straight into the pit lane. We pick up the race with Dordenhoff, who now has to work his way back up through the pack due to no fault but his own. This time, he was definitely guilty of contact with Dragunov, who was span off. But before he could even think about waiting up, he was taken out as well. And he is now in dead last. That is a lot of ground to cover. 2 laps later, Dex in front makes a mistake, and Dordenhoff gains his position. Near the end of the lap, the gap to Wiros is closed, who also has a penalty to serve. Take note, we also encountered this driver last race at Spa, where he got a well-deserved 4th place. He is also having a bad day. A bit further, and another mistake is made that gives a position. One lap later, Dordenhoff has caught up with Dragunov again, who is battling it out with the Spanish Simon Phoenix.
It's Phoenix.
Simon, 745.
Simon Phoenix.
Oh no, was that another moment of contact and taking Dragunov out?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Looks like it was a Phoenix and Dordanov sandwich that might have caused it. Again, not 100% clear if Dordanov is to blame for this. Let's be clear, there were, of course, no ill intentions, but it is very unfortunate these things keep happening, and with the same driver on the receiving end as well. 2 laps later, Phoenix is close ahead, holding someone up, bringing them both in range of Dordanov. And just like that, back to 15th, you really can't let your guard down in this car. A lap later, they are back in range again. Phoenix has been overtaken by the lot of them. And that was so slow, it was basically almost a brake check. Luckily, he wasn't punted off. Still, a 2-second penalty for a collision. The penalty system doesn't make any sense at all. And when serving that penalty, Dragunov is able to pass. At least justice is served. Still, the hunt is on.
Do you have any idea how fast I am? Fuck, boy!
1 lap later, it seems Simon Phoenix is finally defeated.
You're on TV!
In the final lap, Dordanov has caught back up to Dragunov and the rest of the pack again, and an epic battle between the 2 arch rivals is going to unfold for the much-desired 14th position. Uh-oh. Sure, that was a penalty, but then surely Dragunov should also get one, right? I mean, really, this is not a penalty, and Dordanov does get one for being a millimeter over on the other side. Make it make sense. Ah, well, maybe it was the penalty system making sure Dragunov did get the position after all the incidents that happened where he was disadvantaged. Fine, we'll see it that way. Let's quickly forget this one and move on to the next. On to the main event. First, qualifying. Could be better, could be worse. About 4/10 slower than last race, but the gap to 6th is big enough to not make that matter. 7th is risky for midfield shenanigans, but at least it is in the top half. Are you kidding me?
Oh shit. Here we go again.
And of course, a hefty 5-second penalty for forcing another car off track. Let's take a look at the replay. Bumped into the driver in front and almost stopped dead on track. At that point, it is too late to react and a collision is inevitable. Unfortunate incident and potentially race-defining for both drivers. A 5-second penalty will probably drop him right to the back of the field. Let's wait and see. Got back on track right behind Tourette. Now let's be safe and not ram him straight off track again. And if we look on the bright side, there are only 15 drivers left now. Even if he parks it in the pits, he will match the result of last race. But seeing as there is still connection with the pack in front, one would hope something better should be possible.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
Okay, seriously, what the actual fuck? Right, let's take a look at the replay once again. Okay, so this time it was Tourette who crashed into the car in front, who subsequently lost control and took Dordanov out. Great. This race is off to a great start, just like the last one. Almost dead last halfway into the second round. All right, head down and push. Push, push. And there we have the first position gained. Luckily, the ghosting system worked well. And there is another contender visible with a big 4-second penalty. Looks like there have been some shenanigans at play.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
Some more cars are already visible up front. Hopefully they will slow each other down by fighting, so the gap is able to be closed fast. The gap is indeed closing fast, but getting to them is one thing. Getting by is something completely different. Oh, and one of them has a penalty? That might help. Sadly, that 0.5-second penalty was not nearly enough. There was too much of a gap between everyone, but it should bring everything closer together. Their pace seems to be pretty good. Overtaking is not going to be easy and will probably require one or both of them to make a mistake. Speaking of mistakes, Furious Racer seems to have made one. He must be furious about that. Well, that's at least a position gain, up to 11th now. And there is another one. Sorry, Dex, coming through. It's difficult to keep following closely in this car and on this track, so sometimes a little lifting is necessary, even though that loses the connection a little bit. Better safe than sorry at this point. It looks like they have an actual fight going on now. At this point, it's best to hope they get into a collision and either one or both of them crashes off. Regardless of the outcome, it is losing them time, allowing Dordanov to creep right up again. That is unexpected. Dordanov was trying to bump draft to allow him to overtake or at least force the fight, but he was having none of it. He yields the position for Dordanov to try it. We will take it. That was some clean side-by-side racing. It can be done, if both drivers give each other space. The pace of the Irish Rat in front is pretty good, so it will take a bit to get to the next action. Let's skip towards that action.
Hello, Advent Skip.
2 laps later, and Dordanov was right up into the gearbox of the Irish Rat. Let's take a look. Again, space was given by both drivers for close racing. Love to see it. Now that he is finally in some clean air, Dordanov can hopefully get some clean laps in and pull some distance. Let's skip forward a bit once again.
The castle is Skip.
We jump back in just before the final lap and can see that the pace has really improved a lot from not being stuck in traffic and finally having some clean air. Now it's only a matter of not making any dumb mistakes and bringing the car home. We can see Dex lurking in the background, but he didn't get close enough to be a real threat in the final stages of the race. And there we have it, the race is finally over. Even though an 8th place is not something to get real excited about, it is still a decent result considering he was almost in last place in the second lap of the race. Special mention for the Spanish Toretta who managed to finish in 7th place after being murdered by Dordanov at the start of the race. Not really a fun day at the track, to say the least. Dumb mistakes, bad luck, and a terrible penalty system all stacked on top of a car and track combo that is one of the worst we ever had so far. With the car being so sensitive to the high curbs and the track itself being very narrow, allowing very little opportunity to overtake, this did not make for a good race. Well, on to the next one.